Hello, my name's Anand and you're very welcome. In today's video, I'm going to look at overwhelm. And I don't know about you, but this last week has been pretty bloody overwhelming with what's been going on in the US. Tariffs, maybe not having tariffs, financial markets exploding and imploding, and just generally a lot of chaos. And I felt like this video is very timely because I've been working on a workbook that has 5 steps to help you tackle overwhelm. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, in the hope that it can support you with these really strange times. So if you're new to this channel, you're very welcome, and if you're returning back, it's lovely to see you. My name's Anand and I'm an emotional wellness coach, and I support people with inner struggles. And today, one of those inner struggles I'm going to talk about is being overwhelmed. It's actually the number one issue that my clients have talked about again and again. It's the thing that keeps recurring, and that's why I wanted to, one, create this video, but also create an in-depth workbook that can support people tackling overwhelm, so that the result is that they get more energy, time and joy in their life. Because we don't want a life of just work, or duties or go all the time. We want to be able to pause and to enjoy life and not be on the edge all the time. And another element just to share before I go into these 5 steps and talk about overwhelm a little bit more is I've been very deliberate using the word overwhelm. This is not burnout. Overwhelm is probably the step or stage just before someone is fully burned out and they need time out of work, or they're kind of at that breaking point where they're starting to get physically sick. This, I hope, is going to prevent you from becoming burned out. I know because I've been burned out myself and been out medically, but also I've been overwhelmed, and it can come in and out of my life. But rather than it being like a big jungle, now it's more like this weed of overwhelm pops up and I pluck it out and reset myself. So let's jump into overwhelm. There are many things that cause overwhelm, and I think that it's actually on the increase. Actually, from the evidence that I see around me, it's definitely on the increase. Just last week, as an example, people have been really overwhelmed with fear that financially they're going to be really impacted with the tariffs. The financial markets overwhelmed with not knowing which way the economy is going to go. And so it's very hard to feel calm, energized, when you're surrounded by that level of chaos, that level of bad news. But let's say you're the kind of person who lives in a bubble, who doesn't really watch TV, who doesn't listen to the news, doesn't have a newspaper, kind of just keeps themselves to themselves. Even they're feeling more overwhelmed because there's a lot more expectations on ourselves. You've got parents who have young children. They're having children later in life, so they have their children, and at the same time their parents are requiring more care. And then both parents are working. Both may be commuting because there's more of a drive to get everyone back in the office. So it all starts to stack up. And then there's the fear and concern of AI. How is that going to change things? Am I going to be replaced in a job? Am I going to be replaced in whatever else way I do things? How do I learn how to adapt to this new AI world? When I think of myself, I'm 53, and I've had to learn so much about technology from in my mid-20s when computers started to become more mainstream. Before that it was word processors. And it's just learning one thing after another, and even just something else to think about. Let's say you use an app or a social media platform or particular website or a program, to do something, whether it's your banking, your insurance forms, whatever it is, they keep changing. Have you noticed that? Every 6 to 12 months, you go in and they've, rechanged it, made it better, made it more whatever. And then you're like, oh God, I have to go around and learn this all over again. So that can be overwhelming. So there just seems to be more and more things to do, despite the promises of how technology would free our time. So the good news is I have created a workbook to support you in dealing with overwhelm. And it's 5 steps that will take you through identifying the causes of it and where it's coming from, right through to strategies to reclaim your time, your energy, and to build more joy in your life. So it takes you through a journey. The bad news is the to-do list is never going to get smaller. You're never going to clear it. And it was with that realization, that's why I created this workbook. And it arose through my work with my clients. So it's been tried and tested. And they have found that these strategies have really helped them. So let's jump into these 5 steps. So I mentioned it starts from identifying. So it's all about identifying the signs of being overwhelmed. And you can do a quick Google and find it. In the workbook I have, there's a checklist. And then there's another checklist that helps you identify the sources of it. Then stage 2 or step 2 is measuring it, because you need to measure where is your time going on. And this is not about being judgmental with yourself, saying, oh God, I think I spend too much time on TV or Netflix, or I don't know, maybe I'm not spending enough time with my pet, or that. Please don't judge yourself. This is just literally for you to see where your time is going. And I created a handy time wheel tool that you can download from the workbook, and you just input the numbers and it will show you where your time goes on what, using a visual wheel. So as you put in the data or the numbers, it will populate for you. Once you start to see where your time is going on what, and you're thinking, right, I'd like to spend less time socializing. Maybe you're sick of socializing. So then the next step is where you look at how you tackle overwhelm by reducing, stopping, pausing, or delegating various activities, and looking at who can support you where. And once you start to see what you're going to tackle, the 4th step is more of a deep inner change. I'm always talking about dealing with inner struggles to uncover your inner richness. So this is where you're really going to negotiate with the 3 main voices of overwhelm. And these are shame, guilt, and fear. Often we experience guilt when we're doing something. Maybe it's spending time with someone we don't really want to spend time with, but we feel guilty because they're lonely or they need something. But deep down you don't actually want to spend your time there. Or maybe you feel ashamed or have imposter syndrome, so you overwork and you spend extra hours in work to avoid and move away from that shame. Or you feel afraid that you're going to lose your job if you don't keep up because there's so much uncertainty. These 3 voices can keep you locked in overwhelm. And sure, you can ignore them and repress them and deny them, and you'll stay in the same situation. Or you can say, I'm going to meet with you and talk with you, have a dialogue, negotiate, and see how these 3 voices of overwhelm can actually flip it around to get them to help you to reduce the amount of work in your life. Because actually time is our most precious commodity. Another reason why I created this workbook was I read somewhere that we have on average 80 summers. That's 80 summers. And I'm like, damn, I'm after using 53 of them. So I really want to make my time work for me. And that's what this is all about, is making your time work for you, owning your time as best as you can, but also acknowledging the reality that the to-do list is never going to change. And there are things that you cannot control, but you can control your response to them. Which brings us to the fifth and final step. And this is the fun bit, because there always has to be a bit of fun at the end of it. And these are 9 strategies that you can use to bring fun and more energy and time into your life. And there's one actually I share about turning a dull activity into something that you enjoy. So thinking about something that you enjoy, like if you like singing, sing in the car when you're in a traffic jam. Or if you like people watching, you can, when you're stuck in a queue, quietly people watch, or whatever it is, just bringing something that you love or enjoy with something that's really dull. So how do you get the workbook? There's a link down below that you can download it. I would love to hear how you get on and what works for you. And if you have any other thoughts or questions, do drop a comment in the box below. Or you can pop me an email. It would be lovely to hear from you. So for now, enjoy your day. Take a big exhale, not inhale, because exhaling helps you to empty the stress out and then give space to breathe in. And I encourage you to take that first step and download the guidebook or the workbook. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.